On board the Honda Silverwing, this and the Suzuki Bergman 650 are probably one of the most refined maxi scooters that you can get. And this one, because they only made it, I believe, from 2002 to 2013, and this is a 2003 model. It also comes with ABS, so this one's got ABS, it's got heated grips, all the other good stuff. There's some things already that I don't like, but so far this bike is incredibly comfortable. So we're going to take it for a ride and see how this bike behaves. Let's go. All right, let me show you the bike. We'll do a little bit of a walkthrough just so you guys can see what it looks like. It's fairly big. It's got a really cool exhaust note, and the exhaust even looks cool with the two holes. So I kind of like that. It's got a carbon fiber. I don't know if it's real or not, but it could be just plastic. I don't think that's stock. The back end is extremely wide, and there is a reason it's that wide. It's because there's storage in the back of there. And this engine, this transmission is freaking huge. Look at that, just amazing. And then you have two coils on each side, which is good. And on this side you have a disc rotor. So I haven't done any maintenance to it. I don't know much like what it needs. The oil is good, the transmission is smooth, motor is smooth. Mechanically there's nothing wrong, and physically there's really not much wrong with it. It's a really good example. So up front, it's got a really cool shaped V. You know, like looking at it from the front, it looks like a motorcycle, and then as you pass you can tell it's a maxi scooter. Another really interesting note is that this one's got the ABS version, and it's a single rotor up front, but it's more than enough because this one is like a 50 horsepower motorcycle. So in a way it kind of looks like a Hayabusa from the front. That V shape, it's very large. The turn signals are integrated with the plastic. That's one of the downsides of the maxi scooter. It's the amount of plastic you have to deal with, but that's just the name of the game. Here is why it's so comfortable. You have this huge cockpit to sit. Of course you sit on it like a chair, and the seat is just so comfy. I didn't lock it. And of course you got this strut here that kind of pushes it up. It's just one, so it kind of wobbles. Not too bad. It's very easy. But look at this, the trunk. The trunk goes like all the way back here, and I got some extra parts. Apparently you can fit two full-size helmets here. The thing I appreciate, I haven't gotten around to really like looking around, but here's a little like piece of carpet. It's these things that you can get to the battery, you can get to all of these things, like for example the turn signals. You can just push this down and you can reach the turn signals and the lights. It actually kind of, that's really good engineering. So on both sides, and this kind of goes back quite a bit. I have to fix this light. It's a light for the trunk. When you open this up, it does turn on. And look at this. This is another beautiful thing about Honda engineering. They put the fuses really accessible. I don't even know where the battery on this is yet, but the battery is good. I'm actually imagining that the battery could be here, but I'm not exactly sure. For the passenger, you have a really nice grip for your passenger. It's funny, the previous owner put this here: 1 up 29.33, 2 up 29.36. That is the mark of an anal person that took care of his motorcycles, that he actually wrote down the PSI required for riding with a passenger and riding solo. That's exactly the type of person you want to buy from. But that's just so funny that they add that. But the seat, and let's just lock it. There we go, it's locked in. Really nice, comfortable passenger seat with the lumbar support, and big ass lumbar support for the rider. Really wide, so very easy to ride. Even a short person should be able to flat foot this, because it's so much narrower here, so you can fit your leg. This is where your legs, when you put your legs down, they actually kind of like fit here. So that is very well engineered. Compared to the Kymco Exciting 500, it is so many steps up. You can't even compete. The passenger foot pegs tuck away into the design of the bike. One thing that I don't like is that it does not have a sight glass for the oil gauge. It does have like just a dipstick. I don't like that too much. And here is the brake. I actually had no idea that's where the handbrake was. Very hidden. This is the gas cap. I do not like this at all. It's starting to get some rust. I kind of wish that this plastic bit should have been a metal piece and lockable, and then the inside should just be like a twist cap. I don't like that. The previous owner did some stuff here. He did the heated grips, and up here you have a non-lockable compartment. It's kind of short. What does that say? Capacity load 0.5 kilograms, 1.1 limit. Okay, going off to the other side, Silverwing. You do have the key to get into the seat. You have a kickstand and center stand. This one is lockable, and this one is an interesting pocket, because if you put my hand, I mean, this thing goes in for a while. It's like you're fisting the bike. Look at that. You can put tons of stuff. I even got a manual here. That is a deep pocket, and lockable. It's perfect. The windscreen is an aftermarket windscreen, and it has this like little vent here you can control. I have it shut off right now. It's hydraulic front and rear. Very simple. Turn signal, horn, high beam. It's got like a plastic shroud covering the handlebar. I actually probably would mount this phone right here on the handlebar instead of the plastic like the owner has. Very comfortable to ride. In the cockpit you have your RPM, speedo, you have some dummy lights here, and you have a digital dash with like oil light, temperature, fuel on that right side. Let me start it up. Get in there, key. There we go. I like to keep the GPS charged. So to start it up, put it in the on position, hold the brake. You have to make sure you put the kickstand up, and then start it. And it starts. I don't know if you guys can hear the note of the exhaust. It's not a typical note. It does have like a really kind of deepish sound to it that I really like. People go into the scooter, they might buy it, and they'll realize, oh, this does not get scooter like mileage. And no, it actually gets similar mileage to like a 1000cc bike, which is kind of crazy. But the compromise is that you have a bike that's just unbelievably comfortable, capable of keeping up with motorcycles that are large, much more comfortable than a touring bike, and for a fraction of the cost. Center stand is extremely easy. So the Super 10 Ray that I have, so difficult. I have no idea how to design such a badly. So if I was to use, you can't even see the handbrake. You have to kind of look for it. Now it's locked. Push it back, it just rolls. In a way, I kind of like that, because if somebody was to steal your bike, that could be a little bit of a preventable thing. But I like a lot of things about this bike. It is super smooth, you know, you can ride this thing, just enjoy the sights and sounds, and you go from place to place like this. It's subtle enough that it doesn't call attention to itself, which I like. It's still a scooter, so I think a lot of people are confused to see this on the highway. There's hardly any learning curve to it. Oh shit. I just hit my brake for no reason because I thought I was like shifting. Okay, so there is a learning curve. So one of the downsides right away of this bike that I can see is that it gets really bad gas mileage. I know that I'm probably the only one that cares about gas mileage, but you know, I do. And this thing gets like 40 to 42 miles to the gallon. I know that's probably high compared to cars, but it is not a super fast bike, and that's actually like almost sport bike like mileage. The Super 10 Ray, that's 1200cc, gets a little bit better gas mileage than this, out of 1200 cc's and much more powerful. So that's why people complain about the gas mileage of this, because also people use it for touring. This is a good bike for touring, and it's not so much that people get a Honda Silverwing like this because they're trying to save money on gas. That's not the goal here. The goal of this bike is just having a Maxi scooter that's extremely refined and you can just ride across country. It's fast enough to surprise a lot of bikes. It's not uber fast, but I think what you want to keep in mind is that this bike is just so refined. It's got two counterbalancers in the engine to keep the engine like really smooth, and it's really smooth. It also has got a really nice exhaust note. On video you don't really hear it, but hopefully later on we'll be able to hear the exhaust. It does sound really good. A little backstory why I got the Silverwing. I wasn't really hunting for a Silverwing. I've wanted a Silverwing many times before, but the prices were too high and I just could not make it. I could not get one. I also considered the Bergman, but I like the idea of the Silverwing because it's an extremely refined bike. Everything I read about this bike said that it's one of the smoothest, one of the best Maxi scooters out, and even beats the Bergman 650 Executive in smoothness. I've never ridden the Bergman, so I can't really say for sure, but you also get the Honda name, which is something that helps resale. I had listed my Honda Elite 110 for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and I got a message. I got a lot of messages lately about selling the scooter because gas prices have gone up so much. But I got one in particular, and the guy is like, hey, would you ever consider trading up? And I'm like, what do you got? And he said, oh, I have a Silverwing. And the reason I want to get rid of the Silverwing is because I'm too old to ride it. And he was 75 years old, and he bought the Silverwing because he's moving out to Virginia to a beach, and he wanted like a scooter to kind of putt around. And he bought it near this area, so just down the street from me, this one. And he put it on the trailer. The guy that he bought it from put it on the trailer, and he never took it out of the trailer because it was too heavy for him. You know, usually I go very slow in the beginning so I can learn, but look at that, it actually goes motorcycling speeds around corners. There's some weird corners here. There's one with a weird hump mid-corner, and I want to see how this bike handles here. Right here. Yeah, it does like bring you off the seat, which I don't like. The suspension is not great, but it does go around the corners really smoothly. I think the Yamaha T-Max and this is about the same sort of speed when it comes to power. The T-Max was really cool. I like how it looks, much sportier than this, but a little bit less refined. You know, around these corners it does fairly well. It doesn't take much to kind of lean it over at all. When you get on a Goldwing from 0 to 2 miles per hour, that's where the heaviness is, and then it's gone. It's as if it's a magic thing that happens, black magic, and the weight is completely gone from the bike. It's the same thing with this thing. I think I'm gonna go this way. It's the same thing with this bike. It's heavy when you're moving it around, and then it magically just disappears. All the weight is gone, because the way the scooter is designed was to put all the weight as low as possible, and what that does, it makes a very comfortable, very agile motorcycle. The bike does kind of send me around a little bit too much for my liking, but that's more to do with it being a road bike. On the Super Tenere, it feels absolutely perfect riding on these roads, and I enjoy these roads. But on this one, it's just a little bit rough, and it might be just the suspension is set wrong for me. But for me, I really enjoy being on these roads because there's like less cars. See, I'm like going through these uneven roads. You're getting kind of sent around a bit. It's not much. I'm being extremely picky. But that's also one of the reasons I enjoy dual sports, is that they themselves are better for these type of roads than any other type of road bike. Being behind the scooter is so good because you're in a bubble. Like, this windscreen is an aftermarket windscreen, and if you see my hand, like it actually kind of deflects all the way to here and to the top. Like, I don't even know, like it's maybe right, I mean, it clears you, like there's hardly any wind hitting me. I've done a couple of videos on the benefits of maxi scooters as opposed to touring motorcycles in particularly, because maxi scooters, I feel, are much better touring machines than touring machines. And with this one, you have just an unbeatable comfort level that you just do not get from a touring bike. And the way you sit on it, being sheltered, just makes riding so much easier. And if you find sitting in a chair comfortable, you are going to really love this. This is probably one of the most refined maxi scooters that you can get. I believe Honda is the one that came up with the maxi scooter name, and I believe that the Suzuki Bergman 650 is the one that came to the United States first, but I believe that the Honda Silverwing took it to the next level. For the people, dark siding Silverwing. So they do make, I believe it's a 15 rear, so the tires for the rear are really abundant. 'Tis the season of grass clippings. It's incredible. Goes a little wide. Oh, gravel. But fairly smooth in the corners. Look at this, really cool. This is around the Westminster area of Maryland. This thing does have a little bit of a pop. It's not super fast, but it definitely moves when you want it to. It feels really weird because, like, you're expecting to shift gears, you know, on the NC. You actually hear the engine or the transmission shifting gears on it, even with the CVT. But this one, it's just like a scooter. So it feels much more different but I'm expecting to shift gears. I'm expecting to hear something. And this bike is just like one long smooth amount of power. It feels like it's got the same power down low as it does high up. Look at this, Westminster. I believe there's a gas station up ahead. I'm going to fill up. Oh, 3.6. Even the SH or the Elite 110 was harder to fill up while sitting on it. $8 already. Look at this. This is really cute. Irish pub. This is the old historic Westminster. It goes through pretty well. It actually flicks pretty well from side to side. I'm very surprised. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this ride on the Honda Silverwing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'm kind of stuck here. The cops won't bother me.